And you are welcome yet again. It's another edition for the Black Table for a Friday evening. My name is Mazino Peel, and as usual, I'm always here with very interesting hosts. I don't call them guests anymore because they're seeming very, very regular. Let's start with the man who would have trolled the Ivorians had he been, well, had the dollars to have traveled to Ivory Coast for the AFCON, but he's still here. You are welcome, Okwe. And I'm talking to you, Okwe Olafemi. Welcome, good to have you here.
Your supervisor.
Let's start. Good to see that you came in your jersey as well. That's fantastic.
Nigeria to the blood, to the very last drop.
That's grand. This other guy is a nice guy. He's got friends from here to Timbuktu. And at the drop of a hat, they'll be at his place anytime he calls them Mr. Deck, because everybody needs a deck in their life.
Already know. Thank you so much.
Indeed. I'm kind to you. I'm kind to you.
You try today.
It's
so just in case the bullet is coming, I'm going to help you.
Nah, you don't need to. You don't need to. And of course, let's talk about the one, the only, the mayor of Agungi. I'm sure he's expecting something really, really bad or hard for me to say, but I'm not going to. I'm just simply going to say, gang, thanks for rolling in. That's all, man.
Now, I wanted to think that the camera has issues. Just pausing. It's good to be here.
We're hoping that it's gang 1.0 and not 2.0 from last week.
He said it rolled in, though.
It's 1.5. No,
we'll
keep it rolling.
Last week was
I was hoping nobody was going to get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I get everything Zeno says.
Well, thank you very much. Well, we like to think that his preferences are weird, not queer, but hey, we'll leave that up to him.
Gang, bring out big guns, bro.
Jose.
Welcome to the Black Table, where we have a very interesting topic up for discussion today. Something very cultural this time. It's called the Omugwo factor. In marriages, whether you like it or not, it always comes up, especially after childbearing. We get to talk about that in depth. But first of all, wanted to say, did you guys see the video of the guy at the airport who almost got what's the word?
God, I beg.
What's the word?
God, I beg.
What do I call it? So what had happened was he was traveling, and then somebody had slotted drugs into his possession, which would have gotten him into so much trouble. Now, people say that, wow, this kind of thing happens. I would like to say that I've experienced something I suspect could have been the same, well, maybe in a funny other way. I was at the airport once traveling to South Africa, and while I was getting checked in and everything, all this, scanning and all, another fellow comes. Oh, it wasn't my turn yet. There was two people in front of me. So the guy in front of me was getting scanned and all. Another fellow came in to scan this next guy, guy number 2. And as he scanned him, he opened his jacket, it would seem, and dropped something in there while still continuing to scan him. So I was like, okay, that looks fishy. So if this guy scans me, I'll say nothing happened. But if he leaves there and doesn't scan me, I'll say there's something going on. And true to my word, he left. And then the original scanner scanned me. And I'm like, fishy. So it made me think that this is, it might be a certain level of porosity, that you can infiltrate the process at the airports when it comes to checking and all of that. And this was 10 years ago, by the way, about 8 years ago. Let me just put that out there. So things might have changed or gotten worse.
So that leaves us with the question of how true it is that a lot of people have been convicted over the fact that they were carrying drugs.
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of the time people say that I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know how this got here. I mean, that leaves us with the question of how it got there.
Now, what were we saying about what's with the other time?
No, but that's the
Do you understand what I'm saying?
To that guy
We never can
But they never found drugs.
They never found drugs on him. And
So
he said
you
he didn't
see-
carry drugs, but everybody just believes, once NDLEA posts you on Insta blog like this, you are guilty.
And the interesting part is the fact that, as a celebrity, it's very easy for them to infiltrate you. You know why? Somebody is saying, you know what, let me take a picture with you. Whilst they're doing that, someone else is slipping something into your bag. Bros, please, let me help you carry it. As a celebrity, if you carry, you have to be very careful when you're, in spaces like that. When I think I was traveling last year. When I was traveling, I traveled with my sister-in-law. And when we got to the airport, I noticed that we had like a whole lot of people at the check-in point, and there was just this hula baloo about you not being able to carry something in your your hand luggage and all of that. Do you know that it is, thinking about it in retrospect right now, it is very easy for people to literally slip things into your bag. Just thinking about it right now, it's just
in terms of hand luggage, right?
Yes, hand luggage.
Gang, let travelers talk. You wouldn't know anything about this. Let's hear out.
Bang!
We're
It's
listening.
okay. It's
We're
okay.
listening
Dad.
to you.
It's okay.
Your gun is soft.
No, no,
What's
no, no,
going
no.
on, bro?
Keep talking, travelers. Maybe you come home. When you travel, you come home now. Don't worry.
So, you know,
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm
no,
sorry,
we
guys,
can't,
I'm
we
sorry.
can't start on this
No,
note
I'm sorry.
now.
You were
Come
saying
on.
something very important.
So, I just, thinking about it now, it is important that the airport security is, beefed up.
Well, the HQ
I
for
think the
fan is being
CCTVs
moved.
need to be checked more often. Now, let me give you an example. Okay, I'm so
You
sorry. I want to
this is your
digress.
problem. You never stop
I'm so
talking.
sorry. I want to digress a little bit. I want to talk about the fact that, I think somewhere in the U.S., somebody was caught actually picking people's bags into his cars.
Wow.
If they didn't have efficient
Yeah.
CCTV, there was
So
no
I
way.
was going to say that
know-
the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria have decided to move their headquarters from Abuja to Nigeria to Lagos. In the first place, I don't know why. If our biggest point of entry is Lagos, why would have the headquarters in Abuja?
Nigeria.
I think that has perhaps maybe affected the quality of service that we have in Lagos, because there's no attention. You walk into the airport and it feels like regret. I don't know. Maybe that might change things now. Guy, you've been to have you been to Ghana, the Ghanaian airport?
Like you said, I'm not
I
traveling.
remember now. That's very true. Has
Not
anybody
travel.
been to the Ghanaian airport recently?
No,
The international airport.
I haven't.
It is like traveling outside of Africa. It's actually quite good, quite fantastic, and I think that's the kind of prestige that an airport welcoming in internationals needs to be like.
have.
Not the Murtala.
I think the
Mohammed
last
airport.
I can
No, but that
remember
new one, the
of
new
the new one.
Murtala one's nice.
Wow.
That looks nice.
The new one.
Have all,
okay, so
all your travels been from Lagos?
Yes, most of my travels have been from Lagos.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I've traveled through Abuja maybe once, and I think that Abuja is still, there are a lot of renovations going on, and it seems like the renovations never stop.
So that guy, let's assume that he didn't catch that guy slipping that stuff in
Yes.
the bag, yeah? I saw his picture in the morning tomorrow, so found the drugs. Who will believe now?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, very,
Absolutely.
very
How
true.
many people have gone down that route?
That's exactly what I said.
You know what? Let's establish our main topic for today. We're going to start with it and then end with it. So, this thing called the Omugwo culture, yeah? It's called different things in different languages, but I think the Omugwo culture, the Omugwo word is taken from the Igbo, one Igbo dialect or so, and it's something that is everybody. Once you have a kid, you go through it. However, there was an entry on social media only just on Monday. We had this conversation inside of Wake Up Nigeria, where we talked about how people are beginning to tell that it's been abused, where mother-in-laws, instead of coming to cater for mother and child, are coming to be catered to themselves. And there was this entry by Uncle Biola, who said, and at the very end of his entry on Twitter, he said, "Every one of us know our mothers. If yours isn't the ideal Omugwo mother and you can't afford to hire help, at least make her stay in her house and manage your wife by yourself. Do better. Childbearing isn't something to trivialize." I said a lot on Tuesday when we had this conversation, so I'm just going to what's it called in the north?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Because, like you said, the Omugwo word has just
taking over.
taken over. So everybody just uses it in general. It's now seen as a pidgin English term as well, where everybody just says, okay, this is what happens. In the north, I don't know what they call it. I don't even know how it is in Hausa, but anyway, I'll tell you about my experience later on the show, but I don't know what it's called in the north.
Tell you what, let's put a pin in it. Now that we know what it is we're going to be talking about, we will come back. Let's take a very short break. When we get back, we'll delve right into that.
You always take the bill on the first date, second date, and third date. Bro code.
Welcome back. We're talking the Omugwo culture in Nigeria here. We're asking gang from before what it was called in the north. You're saying, you want to tell us an experience or something?
For me, okay, when I had my first kid, she was in Lagos. The second one was in Abuja. So because it was in Lagos, my mother-in-law is based here. So she was already available. But for my second kid, which was closer to home in Abuja, so my mother was available for that. Sometimes I just think it's who the wife is comfortable with. That to an extent, the man really doesn't have much of a say on who comes in to cater to that thing. But a wife is more comfortable with her mother, seeing her. But just imagine you, and it also goes with that mother-in-law factor. How close you are with your mother-in-law.
We're going to talk about that. That mother-in-law factor.
Yeah.
What exactly is it? But I want to find out everybody's culture first of all. What is it like in the Yoruba culture? Same thing. Is there like is it mandated that it be your mother, as in the husband's mother or the wife's mother?
I actually don't know, because in my own case, both of them came up.
Both, huh?
Yeah.
At the same time?
Rich uncle.
Bro, and that's why I said I will never have another child again. You go eat yourself.
Why?
Because they're just, what are you people doing in my... So first of all, every time I see my mother, I remember that I'm somebody's son. And I don't like being reminded I'm somebody's son.
So you don't like seeing your mom?
I wouldn't put it that way. I would say I try to manage the relationship, because my mother is the kind of woman that can slap you, you say rubbish. She doesn't care if your child is there.
Wow. Okay.
So for that and that reason alone, anytime she's in my house, I'm always like, she was over for Christmas. New Year's Eve, normally I open champagne, like Cuban cigar. I don't put the cigar for her as my mama do.
Oh, wow.
Because she can come out, what?
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So, because of that, mommy.
So your mom is the real Mama Tao.
Okay, so now the problem is this, and I think Gang already touched on it, where he talked about that mother-in-law factor. Is that what is solely responsible for the friction that we notice between, mothers and mothers? And I mean your wife and your mother, because in this case your wife's
so
a
the
mother.
thing is, the thing about mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, and all of that circle is basically superiority complex.
What? Superiority
Yeah.
complex.
Yep.
Yes.
I agree.
My son loves me more
Than
your
he should
your
love
wife's
me more
than
he
your
should.
wife's mother. My decisions should oversee your decision. This is my daughter. She's the one that gave birth to the child. I should be the one taking the decision.
Those egos
I
are,
should
those
be the
egos
one.
are always
So
gonna
those
clash.
things always
They
clash.
always
And guess
clash.
what? They trickle down to the littlest of things, such as
Simple
food.
thing.
What are we going to
Simple
eat
thing.
this evening? No,
Who
we should
is
eat
going
this.
to make it? Because in this entry, he says that it's becoming a thing where the mothers actually come to be pampered. They come to be cooked for. They come to enjoy. They expect that the lady who's just giving birth is the one who's going to go into the kitchen or go into another labor to start taking care of your
Which
mother.
brings us down to the question of, which person is comfortable with whom. Now, for some families, sincerely, some mother-in-laws from the guy's side truly love their daughter-in-laws, and they will pamper them and do all of the things that they're supposed to do for them, right?
Preach.
But in other parts, the truth is, some people, like I said, you see that super. I should be served. I don't care. I give birth to two. How many have you given birth to? I gave birth to 7. It's, those kind of things will come in, right? But what you must understand is, however you look at it, right? What is important is that this person is cared for. The essence of Omugwo.
Yeah, like, person will come collect my position. Like that. So there are a lot of things that just let it be. First off, and I think just like men, women always try to best each other as well. Because a lot of times when we travel, I see that if my mother-in-law comes to stay with the kids, my wife is constantly calling, have you done this? Have you done that? Did you give it? At one point, I had to say, slow down.
Slow down. She was a mother
She
too.
trained you.
She's a mother too.
Like, the fact that you're here today is because she trained you. So let her do it. It's just a woman's thing. And then when you now put more than one in the house, egos will clash.
So listen, I'm going to take a break on this topic, but real quick, I just wanted to say this about the whole Omugwo thing. Now, as the players, and Gang, I'm asking you, as the players, I'm talking about husband and wife, seeing the dynamic of what might be happening between whether your mother or your mother-in-law, and what should be your responsibility if your mother is beginning to overstep her boundary?
My brother, be neutral as possible.
Real quick, Gang.
Well,
As possible.
I'm one of those guys that will tell you, yes, this might just sound cliche. I have one of the best mothers in the world. And at the same time, one of the best mother-in-laws as well. There's been no clash, no nothing. a lot of mother-in-laws come with an agenda. My mom came with no agenda. My mom was simply, what do you need and how long do you need me for? When my mom came, she literally was ready to leave the next day if she wasn't needed. Do you understand? But no, stick around. She was like, okay, who's coming? Is my wife's mom coming around? Do we need her and whatnot? My mom was just there to just help out, to help my wife, not to come with some agenda and be trying to supervise and wonder what's going on. Now, there's this thing about how our parents raised us and their influence on their grandchildren. You know, they treat the grandkids better.
Much better, yeah.
Than they treat us. You understand? For any error or flaw that's there, grandparents don't whoop the grandchild. But if it was us, they would have given us like an ass whooping. Well, so there's a way you don't even want your parents to spoil. You're looking at them and be wondering, but you didn't do this.
What happened now?
You didn't do this to me type of situation. So for me, it was so smooth that I can't recall any incident.
You know, there's a saying. You know, there's a saying that if you train your children properly, you won't have to stress on your grandchildren.
You can spoil your grandchildren for somebody
else.
else to train
their own children. So that's what it is.
Very interesting. It's always very painful for me when gang actually has the perfect responses to every single thing. It's like his life is so perfect. Why is your teeth not that perfect? In any case, moving on.
What's going on?
I'll tell you guys before the show ends what's going on.
Okay.
All right, now, so this one's all right, let's bring it down to Black Table instances here. This is a very interesting one. As a Nigerian lady tells about how she goes on a date and she was rewarded with 1 million naira by this guy that asks her out.
Why?
She tells a story about just for coming, exactly. She tells a story about this guy.
As in just for arriving at the location.
We'll get there, guy. She tells a story about this guy asking her out for a date. However, as the time approached, she wasn't really into it anymore. And still the guy, hey, I'm already out with my sisters. Guy says, no problem. I'm going to come over. And guess what? I'm going to clear your bills wherever you guys are at. Yes. She's like, oh, my goodness, what am I going to do now? She calls her 2 sisters. They arrange. They go out to this very swanky place to get a reservation, you know, by some chance. And then guy comes in and says, okay, what have you guys ordered and all? What's your account number? And then sends her, boom, 1 million naira. I know the only person capable of doing that kind of thing here
that's
on this table,
bro, that's the symbol.
Is rich uncle.
Like never.
Why is this impossible?
Nah, bro.
Is this proper? Is this proper behavior? Is this proper Lagos man behavior?
So, if you don't have game...
That's all that they do?
No, if you don't have game... If you don't have game, yes, your money can step in, but bro...
So why? You feel that was... exceeding, that was just
I think it's an insult, actually.
An insult?
Is it?
I think it's
on whose part?
On the girl. Like, so first off, right now she's definitely going to be confused. Like, maybe should I give this guy a chance or not? You're not giving him a chance based on his personality. It's because he gave you 1 million. And there are a lot of people that 1 million is nothing to them. Let's never forget
like
that.
Fina.
Absolutely.
There are some people that 1 million is like 100K to him. I'm like, I just give the girl 100K. So, really, 1 million is all it takes to sway you. Come on. If I was a girl, I wouldn't even put that out. That, oh, one guy came, gave me 1 million.
It's even something to be suspicious about.
Of course.
It's something to be suspicious about because real men don't do that.
They don't.
Real men don't do that. It just shows that you can be bought.
So
it even questions his source of...
Who are the real men that...
The men that have game.
My brother, I've seen people who... This one, don't be say this. I just did work for somebody. Somebody give me $500. Somebody give me $1,000. This one, see, let me tell you something there.
See, that's
there are men who literally can spend
these are
like
men.
that.
This is you now. You're saying in your experience.
For working for them. You understand? Now, if you can pay someone for working for you, you've paid me for, you know, this one is, thank you so much for, you know, all the work and everything. Guy, take. If they can do that to, you know, for a guy, what do you think they would do to make a statement to a lady?
So first of all, you had given them a service and you were very good.
I was paid.
And that was appreciation. You were rewarded.
Yes.
What did she do to get 1 million?
That's what I'm saying. You see, let me tell you something. You see, there's, you know, men have ego on a normal day. All right. Now, it grows larger when they want to show that I can actually sway you. I don't have to be there. Right? Look, let me tell you something. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. You see that thing called "let my money speak for me."
Because you can't say shit.
What are you saying?
Bro.
What are you saying? Because you can't say shit. Let me know what you. Do you know the? Let me tell you something.
Okay.
A lot of relationships like that, when the women are involved, at some point in time, they get bored and they look at the guy. This guy has nothing to do or offer me but his money, and they will never be faithful to you. They'll be banging around and doing things for guys that ain't giving them a dime.
Let me ask you a question.
So if you use your money to speak and you can't say nothing.
Okay, let me ask you a question, guys. This question is for you. As a
looking
lady,
at the camera.
Yes, I'm looking at the camera. As a lady, can you ever be bored of money?
Yep.
Let's leave it there.
Hashtag Black Table on TVC.
Let's leave it there.
Yes.
I like that,
Yes.
actually.
No, but
Let's
yes.
leave it there. And let's get the
question
response
now,
of people. I'm not going to answer you, but let them answer you by themselves.
So my question now
That's
is,
it.
so is it the money they're dating or the...
My brother, let me ask you, how many
let
ladies in this
Let's
Lagos
just end it. Let's just end
are
it.
looking for a man to make them
The only reason why it's a
that
big deal.
money is what they're looking
Yeah,
for.
but the only reason why it's a
Come
big
on
deal to
now.
her is because 1 million is a big deal to her. Because
Yes.
we have our own money. Bro, so if you had tried that with a girl
Okay.
that was actually well situated, you'd
Yes.
be like, what's this?
She'll be like, what? She'll do a
feel
thing and say,
insulted.
give me your account number. I'll send
Femi,
1 million back.
Femi, let me tell you something. No matter who the girl is,
Bro,
no matter how much she has,
bro, I know women.
if someone, hold on 1 second.
I know
All right,
women.
it's one thing or the other.
I'll take
It's
you-
one
I'll
thing
take you
or
on
the
that.
other. It's either she doesn't want that money, or she takes that money and she's excited that someone actually gave her 1 million.
All right. So Femi,
I am telling you that for a fact.
Femi,
It's simple.
Premium, hang on a second. I called you Premium. That's his bike name, guys. Femi, you know women.
I know women.
Who are they?
Women that have money and don't have sense. Those kind of situations, they'll be like, this one they mad me. What's the meaning of 1 million for what? Please give him 10. Like,
Okay.
no jokes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get
No
you
jokes.
now.
It's okay
Okay.
type situation.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So
Money,
all
a
honest,
million won't move her.
But those are in the minority. However.
there are a lot of them.
So you see the interesting part.
Wait, hang on a second.
There are a lot of them.
So wait. He drives a blue Benz. His
Let me even make
No,
you guys
Femi,
laugh.
wait.
So there was a friend of
Hang on a
mine.
second.
There was a friend of mine. I remember she was asking me stuff about, she wants to do production, she wants this. She was asking me a lot of questions. We went to last week together. And we had that conversation. And she was like, if I had gone to someone to tell me all of this, I would have paid them money. Send me your account number. I'm like, until leave me, I'll not send you my account number. That's just take it like that. The next day, she sent me $700. How she even found my account number, I don't know, but I'm sure. Okay, but she used to work in the bank, so I'm sure. She sent me $700. Swear to God in heaven. In fact, I'm born again Christian. He's very popular on social media, and I'm like, $700. Just I can't give you $700. Like, no matter how nice you are to me. Then let's be honest. And I'm like, okay. So imagine that this girl actually really liked a guy.
Okay.
How much do you think she'll be playing with him with?
Okay, good. That same question goes for a guy. Now let's look at it this way. You talked about the toke, effect. Do you know that somebody who can give a girl who is not toke makiwa 1 million will definitely not give a toke makiwa 1 million?
Definitely.
She would look at her status, she would look at the way she is, who she is, and who would definitely want to razzle-dazzle her with, some kind of money that would definitely make her, say, okay, you know what, I want to have a
Sometimes-
conversation. My question is,
When
that's what
I
I'm
was
saying.
of the world,
That's
we
the
the
thing.
top girls of men we get bread because those men don't get game.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And we didn't have
Okay.
and those girls, they even almost like people was already
Normal
It's very
level.
interesting because
Normal
that,
level.
what we're talking about actually goes into our next topic. Now, this was a podcast, I think, by Oliver Modi. She was talking to a very cultural, let me put it that way, culturally, mentally situated man. And in the conversation, she asked him, where do I stay if I'm a grown woman living in Lagos? Why can't I stay with another man? And he insisted that if you are a Nigerian, as a Nigerian and a cultural Nigerian, you must, every single woman must get married and live in her husband's house. But we know times have changed. The comment section is what actually I read through, and the comment section had it where people said that this kind of a person should actually never be allowed in society because they're a bit too, what's the word, patriarchal. It's a cultural thing where our parents especially believe that you don't even leave your parents' house and go live alone. You go straight to
That's a
our
Yoruba
husband's house.
culture.
Now,
That's a Yoruba
exactly.
culture.
It's a Nigerian thing.
It's a Nigerian thing, quite frankly.
It's very strong
Now,
with Yoruba
now the
people.
argument is that ladies have found themselves in situations where this is not what I wanted and are only just simply trapped in that situation because they were led to that kind of a situation by culture, by pressure. And they're dying in it because, hey, if they were to leave it, they'd be stigmatized as perhaps maybe separated or divorced. So
let's be clear. Are we talking about a married woman here?
No, we're talking about why people, or let me put it this way, the pressures that single women go through to get married and to get, into these relationships where they really don't want to be in it, but they're just forced to because of pressures from culture.
So I don't think anybody can force anybody to be in a relationship.
Marriage.
Relationship, marriage. We live in a world where freedom is everywhere. Like, women leave just because they don't like the color of your shirt. Like, why is he wearing a green shirt this morning? I don't like him. I'm breaking up with him. So let's be honest. Oh, I want to believe that we're talking about a woman that is of marriageable age, right? In all honesty, because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine this evening. In all honesty, a woman in her late 30s, 40s, 50s, right, that wants to get married, but is not married. As a young man, let's be honest, that's a red flag. Because, it is.
The red flag, what age again?
Late 30s, 40s, 50s.
Let me pause you for a second. Let's let that marinate. Let's take a short break. And when we get back, you'll continue with that. But I think that you might have just dug yourself a little cozy hole. But knowing you, you always come back to the portable ladder.
But fuck now.
Let's take a quick break on the black table, and we'll be right back.
You always take the bill on the first date, second date, and third date. Bro code. As a guy, when it comes to every decision you're taking, ask yourself, who am I and how is this going to impact on my person? Bro code.
Always treat your bros the way you want to be treated. Bro code.
You always take the bill on the first date, second date, and third date. Bro code.
Okay, welcome back. So we got a bit of a redirection on that topic here. So I'm gonna redirect that question which I asked you first of all, but you were on track. Now the point is this: yes, we have a situation, especially here in Lagos, where ladies are having it very difficult to find houses because they're single. They might be capable, they might have all it takes to actually have and acquire a house, but they're unable to, where the landlords see them as, no. It's an age-old problem that has been from time immemorial, and it still persists even more today. Now, that gentleman said, no, you're not supposed to be on your own as a single woman. You're supposed to be married. It's either you're coming out of your parents' house and you're going straight into your husband's house. Now, that's a cultural thing, and that was the cultural reference I was making from before. So you were saying...
So I was saying that man or woman, late 30s, late 40s, late 50s, wants to get married but never been married, has no kid, it's a red flag. And I have both sexes, men and women, as friends. It's a big red flag because, in all honesty, nobody is that good. And are you telling me that everybody that they've gone through in their life, nobody saw you now, they see the diamonds, say, this is not correct person. All the other people didn't see it.
Okay, so I remember saying that you're digging a hole. Because many people will argue that, first off, some people don't take getting paired up as their main focus. You could be a career person.
No, if you want to, if that's a desire for you, and it's not happening, then there's a problem somewhere because
then let's put in the housing factor and why landlords
But that one I don't understand it because I know a lot of single people a lot of single girls that have their own
after much effort, they would argue.
I don't
Gang,
think
do you
so.
agree?
I don't
Yes,
think so.
a lot of single women, and from my experience when I was in Oyo State as well, it happens there as well. A lot of single women get to the point that somebody needs to vouch for them. To the landlords.
Okay, so what's the rationale behind that, though?
A lot of landlords just, even some young men, that especially in this Yahoo boy era, a lot of landlords think that their properties will be used for a certain kind of lifestyle that they don't condone.
Well, what's your problem? Give their house, they go now. What's your own?
They don't trust
What
me.
is specific what kind of
Trust me.
lifestyle?
No, but
Some people just feel as if you're a single lady, you'll be living a wayward type of lifestyle.
How does that affect you?
Inviting all sorts of people,
that you want
living
now.
in different, like from their own experience. Some ladies get an apartment, and next thing, it's a dungeon for hoes.
So
But it's my property. So sometimes I'm not. It's not me. I'm telling you from my experience. I've seen people reject people, and they monitor activity happening. They can come and tell you, dude, I'm not happy with this. Take your money and get out.
why?
They're just not comfortable.
Okay,
with
so
it.
you're bringing different chicks. I hate the fact that you have game. Go. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Wait,
What's the
let's
problem?
Deck. Deck, do you
What's
have
the problem?
any entry
So
here?
you know, the thing is this, right? You see, you must understand the cultural belief
Exactly.
in the environment that you live in. Now, landlords are, of the belief most of the time that when a
Demigods.
lady is going to get an apartment, right, that person is likely to invite unscrupulous elements into the house, one of which can be Yahoo boys. Two, this same lady could be dating
Multiple
a military
partners.
officer.
Okay, so
So
what was the new
when they have issues,
So
military
they'll
officer will deal with landlord.
Okay.
Three, these people, apart from the fact that scrupulous elements and Yahoo boy, if they date armed robber.
Well, your
So you see,
your regular tenant can be dating an
That's
armed
the
robber too
thing,
now.
bruv.
Your regular
I was
tenant-
about to
your
say,
regular could be the armed
Armed
robber
robber,
itself.
like
okay, let me tell you something. When I was looking for an apartment in Magodo, I stood right.
Which is not where he lives. He doesn't live there.
I don't live-
He doesn't live there.
I stood right in front of Evans, the kidnapper. I saw him live. He
Wow.
was right in front of me. Guess what? I can't say that this is what he looks like, but in retrospect, I remembered it was his slippers. He was wearing Gucci slippers.
Gucci?
So I said, this guy, there's
Kidnapping
nothing you
money.
can tell me.
Kidnapping
This
money.
guy, na oil boy, because he had this Hilux and all of that. So I was about to get an apartment right in front of his house. Yes. You don't know who your neighbor is. You don't know who
So then
who is
what-
what.
then all
So you see, the thing is
what
this:
about them?
landlords are very wary about ladies. And the problem is you
As in
can't also
why, though?
you have to
Why?
also be very careful the way you relate with them.
but
Ladies,
why?
when they
But
talk,
he said it's a cultural
that's
thing.
a cultural
A lot
thing.
of people expect women
you
to
understand?
leave
Are we
their
talking about
father's
are we talking
house
about culture
to
as
go
in
to a husband's
Lagos
house.
on its own, or are you talking about just Lagos?
So
or
I can
because
only
you
speak
talk
for
about
Lagos
your
because
Oyo State
I can speak for Lagos because I've lived in Lagos and I know what happens in Lagos.
Why
In
do a lot of
fact,
women that
an
live
uncle
in
of mine
Lagos, oh?
will never take a woman in the house for various reasons.
wow.
Let me tell you something.
Let
I
me
have
tell you
a
why.
friend in Abuja
Yeah.
that paid for a house. When the landlord found out, because she didn't pay directly to him, when the landlord found out, he said, return her money. I want a married couple in my house.
Exactly.
So
Some people will say,
they'll tell you a lot of things like that. We want a married couple.
Listen, guys.
Some people even tell you these are the professions we're looking for. It's
Is that
go
bad?
to Ibadan.
But
Their
wait,
house
no,
have been
let me
empty for
tell you
years.
what. Let me tell you what
Hang on a
my-
second, Deck.
my
Just a
uncle
second, Deck.
said.
Just a second,
Okay.
Deck. I really would love us to continue with this, but we actually have a whole, and we have one more, our solid topic that I wanted to talk about. But I just wanted to, before going back to the Omugwo factor we were talking about from earlier, did you guys hear about AY and his wife? Yes, it would seem another celebrity couple have unfollowed themselves on Instagram. And as we know, from experience, this spells doom, especially immediately after which she writes on, this is AY's wife now, the threats to my life is actually getting out of hand, and if anything happens to me, there is one person that should be held responsible. Heading to the police station right now, and then it was discovered that they had actually, from earlier, unfollowed themselves.
But that's a vague statement now. There's nothing here that mentions AY now. Let's be honest.
But now, that's Nigerians. Who did she unfollow lately? Her own husband. Anybody suspected anything from
That's
before?
why I always say don't bring up marital problems to social media.
Unless you want us to use it to entertain.
But they
nonsense.
hadn't. They haven't.
But she did. She just did.
She, like you said, there was no reference to AY.
Well, if we just go down low.
But now they've seen she has unfollowed him.
Could be for security reasons. I just don't want to, you know. I don't know.
It could be for selling market too. Baba is marketing is movie now.
True that.
We need drama now.
Oh, then there is that.
Yes,
That's a movie coming out.
It's out already.
It's out already.
Yeah, let's not mention his name. He's not paying us. Hey, it's not paying us. It's not paying us. AY, if you want us to do that, you have to. You know what to do.
Well, the guy not just lose his house in the fire.
He has to. Listen,
he lost his house in the fire.
That was a long time ago now.
No,
part of the house. That part of the house caught fire.
It was mostly all of it, but that was last year, and yeah. But in any case, we don't know exactly, so we're not going to really dive into that one because
maybe
it could be a number.
Mouth. He might have some. You see what I did there? Plug in my guy. Plug in my guy. On top of my other guy.
That is very nice.
Hiroshima bombing.
I'm so sorry. Hold on. I was going to ask this question. I mean, I'm so sorry.
You said what?
I just want to ask. No, but seriously, I mean, Basketmouth is someone that I respect very, very dearly. I respect that guy so much.
That means you're about to say something disrespectful.
No. I'm not even going to disrespect him in any way. Now, you see, the thing is this. I see his wife, but she still has his name. I don't think they have an issue.
It's only just been a couple of weeks now, a couple of months.
No, I don't think they have an issue because she still carries his name.
He came out and said that they're not.
Yeah, but he's saying that
he's not that way.
It's a right to bear the name or not.
It's a right, yeah. I mean, and that brings us to another topic, which we actually talked about 2 weeks ago. I mean, do I have to, as a lady, change my name after a separation or a divorce?
At this point, I don't think so.
It's your choice. It's your prerogative.
I went through all of that name-changing thing, newspapers and everything when we were getting married. And then because I'm divorced from you now, I now have to change. I'm not going to change my name.
When you guys come into your life, you're going to have a problem with that.
No, but of course.
Yeah.
No, but it depends. For example,
how?
Wait.
Depends how.
If your last name,
real life context.
So if your last name is Dangote, do you really want to change it?
Who be this guy now?
Do you really want to change it?
So okay, hold on. So what you're telling me now is you don't have a problem being with a lady that was once Dangote's wife. Well, everybody will still know as Dangote's wife. No, you could just be that guy with the married Dangote's wife.
I said if I marry,
no, but that's what
in your spare time. I need you
don't
guys
understand.
to
If I marry a lady who's Dangote, her last name is Dangote, I'll change my name to Dangote.
Which is an issue that Tanya Omotayo is still facing till tomorrow.
There are very many names you can actually mention. And in your spare time, I need you guys to actually research Mobology Bank Anthony. Research Mobology Bank Anthony. Yeah, and you'd see exactly why. It's actually not his name, it's his wife's name.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
God,
so there's very many options.
There's power in the name.
Guys, let's talk about this Omugwo culture. I was talking about outsourcing the Omugwo instance itself. And I'm still on that. And I'm saying that very deliberately because if culture is taking a back seat in our modern society, let's just say, fine.
I don't think culture is taking a back seat, though.
It would seem so.
No.
Everything we do now is void of culture.
I don't
I'm not saying, okay, let me...
So I think what we have...
I'm a bit too generous with everything.
I think what we have is like, we have two divides. On one side, the people that are still like, nah, man, this is how we used to do it. Then we have the Gen Z mindset. So, in all honesty, I don't think...
How do they do it outside Nigeria? Let's talk first world now.
Africans are communal. Everybody... I don't think there's any culture that is as communal as we are. We live in communities. Most of us grew up... our cousins were our best friends. They don't have that abroad. They really don't have that. Africans are very communal. It's just now that we're trying to break that thing, and it's still not working, honestly. It's still not working.
You see, let me be honest with you, right? There are certain things that Gen Z doesn't work with, one of which is culture.
And it's a way to stress, actually.
See, let me tell you something. A Gen Z will not even want this to even go away. You know why? Because they don't like stress. Please call my parents. Let them come and take care of this baby. I want to.
No, but they won't call their parents because they'll tell you.
They'll tell you. Opinion.
No, but they'll tell you that, my parents, they tormented me mentally. I don't want to pass that trauma to my child. No, mental health.
So you see, let me tell you something. When a woman gives birth, there are few people that she wants to touch her. One of those people
must be family.
And one thing I can tell you for free is the fact that a woman would most likely want her mother to be the care of her child
What about
and
a very
herself.
professional nurse? I'm still on this outsourced
Now,
business.
when it comes to professional nurses, midwives that deal with these kind of things, what happens is at a certain stage of the woman's pregnancy, these people get involved with her. It's not something that I'm going to give birth tomorrow and then some stranger comes in. These people actually live with them and get to know them for months before the birth of the child. So they have a level of comfort with those people when they know that family is not around or close friends are not around. Then they know that the professionals can take care of it as well. That's the difference. You can't just bring a stranger. I gave birth today, and you now introduce them to somebody, and that person comes around.
So noting that I might have a mother who might not be very congenial with my wife, and that her mother might not be capable of actually coming through, maybe she lives in another country or so and so, would it not be best for me to just shelf culture and outsource, is what I'm saying? This is the reason why I took those steps in asking about culture and
so
also
that's what I'm saying.
outsourcing.
The outsourcing is something that you have to follow from a certain stage of the pregnancy. That person is a part of the mother's life before birth.
So to throw in another monkey wrench in the works now, if I say I insist, and maybe I'm Gen Z and I don't want this mother-in-law, what's it called? What effect might that have?
It's very simple. Now.
Must be ready now.
So when you chart new parts, you create new problems.
Absolutely. You must be ready to fight your parents.
It's my life.
You chart new parts, you create new problems.
Standard.
You're going to have to deal with things.
What are those problems?
You will find out.
Yes, you F around, you find out.
You find out.
My brother,
You're going to
you see,
deal with things that other people will be like, wow, that's how it is.
See, you see, let me tell you something. It's so deep that where the conversation will get to, you'll be shocked. Your parents will be telling other people that, do you know that my child asked me to leave the house? They never came to the house. They would he threw my things out of the house. I am telling you, you don't want that. You don't want that heat. You really don't want that heat. Let me tell you something. Most parents are of the opinion that, I will carry your child.
That's their joy.
You see that thing called I will carry your child? It's not that I will come to your house, carry the child, and drop it and go. No, that's not it. I will carry your child is while you are working, I will be in the house taking care of your child while you come back.
Let me ask you a question. Opportunity?
Do you have? Your parents are still alive.
Yeah, they are.
Let me ask you a question. Imagine that, your wife gives birth right now, right? Presently, what they're doing, are they working?
No, they're old, so no,
they're not working,
taking
right?
care of them, yeah.
So what do you think is the best job for them right now?
Well, of course they would want to see your grandchildren, their grandchildren,
That's
make
all.
them,
So rub them on that.
That's all.
This is
Now
the
rub them
final
on that
step.
opportunity.
Now
Now say that you are Gen Z, mommy, please stay in the house. And
You'll
find out what will
I
happen.
get what you're saying.
That's it.
You'll find out.
Yeah.
That's
Interesting. What are your thoughts? Would like to have your messages. And what you could do is get up on, especially YouTube. We find out we have a very, very big following on YouTube. Use the hashtag #TheBlackTable on TVC. We want to make sure that your messages are in there. So let's take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll be reading all of them that you sent in for all of the topics that we have talked about today. Let's take that break, and we'll be right back.
As a guy, when it comes to every decision you're taking, ask yourself, who am I and how is this going to impact on my person? Bro code.
The revelations when the
Elon Bond.
Gangster Pointer is back. Well, welcome back. The Black Table. Now it's your show. Let's take your comments inside of the Black Table, and we're going to start with this one. Winnie Boo Boo, or is it Winnie Bobo? I prefer Boo Boo. Says, we are our own enemies. How do you smuggle hard drugs into someone else's possession? Not be meant. Definition of meant, please. Crazy.
Mental.
Mental. Okay, I get it. At Zesty says, you cannot come and add to the burden of the new parents, honestly, except they are enough hands, Sha. Yeah, well, then there is that. At Gogolet says, as a woman, if my mom ain't coming to help when I know she'll still help and when I know she's still hale and hearty, make she sit down for house, Biko. And there's that thing where some people actually have this very distant relationship with their parents, as in they don't even. I think you also mentioned that.
Yeah, but why you? The thing is, why you dealing you? A man is a reflection of his mother and his father. A woman is also a reflection of their parents. So, in all honesty, a well-rounded human being, I don't want to know what happened between your father and your mother. You should have a cordial relationship with both of them if they are together or they are apart. If you don't, that in itself is something the husband or the wife would have to deal with in the future. Because those are things that you see, and we always overlook it, but you will deal with it. It will come.
Let me add to that. I think sometimes it's not necessarily the biological parents, but you need to have people, guardians,
father and mother figure in your life.
Mother figures in your life.
So what happens if one of these figures are missing? If one are missing, do you have any experience of what it might be like?
So first off, okay, me for example, my father died before I got married. And in all honesty, my parents are separated, right? In all honesty, I think God even saved me. Because I don't think they would both get along. My father is very rational, my mother is very emotional.
Do you think you're a well-rounded person? Noting that they were separated.
Yeah.
Who raised you? Your grandmother, you said.
Most of the time I said to my grandmother, then my mom. But in all honesty, I think it was easier for me to say that, oh, this is where this one falls short, this is where this one falls short, this is where this one falls short. And in all honesty, without any, there's no perfect human being. There is no, and when people, because I have a couple of friends that are divorced now, and they're like, oh, my wife is poisoning the children against me. I'm like, they will grow, the children will know who the problem is. It's just life, it's normal.
That's if they choose
They will.
But this is very true, and we have the sample here in the studio with us, and that's him. How old were you when they were separated?
I think I was like 15. No, I wasn't 15, I was like 10 or so.
But when did you start getting aware of perhaps maybe certain kinks in the relationship? At what age exactly?
So I think because, like I said, we all lived communally. Like all my grandparents, all their kids, they lived in the same house. My grandfather and grandmother, they had this big house where all their kids lived. So for the longest time, you didn't even know if your father and mother were together because everybody was just there. There was always food and all of that. But over the years, you now realize that, okay, it's like, this is my friend. This is their house. This is mother. This is father. I don't have that. And as you grow, you realize that, okay, now where these people fall with this, I'm not supposed to fall here. Now where they fall with, I'm not supposed to fall here. It actually, it can either make you or break you. You decide. You decide, yeah.
Nice one. Well, good to see that you're, from what we see, a well-rounded person.
That's another angle. There's another angle to it.
Yeah.
So your parents were, they separated. My parents were never married. That's another angle.
The black table does know how to pick them now, don't we?
Yeah, understand? That's
it. But the day
I don't know my parents. I was found on the streets of J-Town.
No, but jokes aside, though, did they have a cordial relationship?
They had a respectable relationship.
That's the most important.
That's what's important.
That's the most important.
And guess what? I don't want to talk about this, but it has taught me to be a better man.
Better human being. Yes, because you now say that, oh, this is
That's the truth.
Now, people always underestimate what the relationship between parents, whether father and mother, have, what the effect it has on kids. They always overlook that. But it is the biggest factor in building another human being up, whether mentally or temperamentally, or it's a very big factor. And both of you are very good examples.
I want to say something, but I'll reserve the comment till after the show.
All right, okay.
Nobody can say it now. It's okay.
Let's do Richie.
Can I say something real quick? I want to say sometimes, based on our culture as Nigerians or Africans, what you see as marriage now, you might look at some of your grandparents and feel as if they were never married, but they actually were.
Were married, yeah.
You get me? Some people really don't think that marriage is, oh, we came together, families came, they paid bride price, we did this, we went and had a big wedding. That means we're married. There are other kinds of marriges.
But then once you don't born, now don't marry.
My parents were never married. Trust me.
All right, listen. Richard J here says that lady's behavior is screaming, "I'm impressed with your money," and that's the way she's gonna live the rest of her life. Ikurudu Dumami here says, "Believe that lady who got 1 million naira at your own risk." She might have really gotten another angle. We're not sure. Yes. At Sustenuto says, "Excuse premium MC." This person knows you. You dey whine. Who gets bored of money, for God's sake?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
It's not bored of money. It's bored of this. Okay.
No, you guys said it.
Yeah,
You guys said it.
Hold on, you people
You
behind
guys
the
said
camera
it.
now.
The
He's asking
guy
people
has money,
behind
but
the
he doesn't
camera.
have game. Would you be satisfied forever and
Bring,
ever?
bring it back
Thank
in.
you.
Bring it back
Thank
in.
you.
Bring it, rich uncle. Bring it back in here. Bring it back in here.
She said, you hear what she said? Do you hear what she said?
Do you know who she is?
No, do you hear what she
Do
said?
you know who she is?
Excuse us, guys. This is the black table. We have no ladies here. There's no women in here. None. They're delusional. There's no women in here. All right, moving on. Roy66 says, that man in the video has to be joking. From parents' house to husband's house. Now, so easy. Spells out the hiss. Spectacular human. I agree with Gang. We need a law that protects tenants from issues like harassment from landlords, especially the females. I'm trying to be really fast. DDet says, celebrities will just make you fear marriage. Now, wow. Anyway, I hope this is not publicity for his new movie. Finally, at Danny Boy here says, rich uncle, there are a lot of childhood trauma people are still dealing with. So they find it hard to bond with their parents. And you now find these grandparents being totally different people with their kids. It's quite sad. We are actually growing up with plenty of trauma.
No, so the thing is, what define trauma? Define it.
I will define trauma to you right now. Yesterday night at about 11:30, I actually found myself crying. I'm going to be 43 this year, and I was shedding tears last night.
Because?
Of some little factor from my childhood.
So you want me to tell you the truth?
Yes, please.
We all have those moments of weakness.
And this will be a tip, by the way.
You're a human being.
This is the tip, by the way.
We all have those moments of weakness. You're a human being. You can't avoid that. But all of this, childhood trauma, my parents traumatized me, like, we don't pass. You are 43, move on. So when people say those things, I'm like, why do people get stuck in the past? And I know a lot of people around me today. And I'm like, do these people know the kind of lives they will live if they just let go of all of this? So for a very long time.
Real quick, we're out of time.
Basically, you are what you say you are. Your life is how you paint it.
How you
the
dial
brush is in your hand. You design it. And if you say, oh, my life is colored by trauma, it will be colored by trauma. If you decide to leave that trauma behind, you've left it. Like, people have lived through worse things, man, and they are happy and enjoying life. How many years you get
Guys, you want to whip out
This is the best tip that.
No, but like, how many years you get where they
That's
do?
what friend. No.
No, but how many years you get where they say, oh, I was traumatized in my childhood? You are still going to die. What's your problem?
On that very morbid note,
What's your problem?
morbid note, I'd like to say thank you very much for that grim ending.
No, but it's the fact. Bro, it's the fact now.
It's true. You keep on bringing up trauma and
Come
not
on,
how you
that's why-
improve
that's why
Prove
we're like-
yourself.
You keep living in it.
It's
Start living in it.
fantastic. Gang, it's great to always have you here, but it's time to put you to bed now. So tell
Gang.
you guys what we're going to do.
Today-
Give me the old gang.
Catch us again
I
next
can't
week.
say it. If I say it,
If you guys bring this same
11
gang next week, I don't go
I
there.
can't tell you what. I'll tell you behind the scenes.
Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you guys next week.
Lie down.
It's good night or is it good morning?
Nobody wrong.
I know this.
Entertainment to me means fun and knowledge. Being a singer,